my channel. It's Nikisha. We're continuing going through the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. So excited you decided to join us, whether you're new, whether you're old. I'm glad that you're back. And we are going to be getting into law number 35, master the art of timing. Let's get into it. Never seem to be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control over yourself and over time. Always seem patient, as if you know everything will come to you eventually. Become a detective of the right moment. Sniff out the spirit of the times, the trends that will carry you to power. Learn to stand back when the time is not yet ripe, and then to strike fiercely when it has reached fruition. Ooh, yes, let's get into this. So the book goes into the keys of power on page 295, and it talks about 3 different levels of time that we're going to get into. But first, let's talk about time. Time is an artificial concept. True. The first thing to understand in mastering the art of timing, if the inner turmoil caused by our emotion tends to make time move faster, it follows that once we control our emotional responses to events, time will move much more slowly. So time is your only non-renewable resource. You can't get more time. You got only the amount of time that you have. So it's really up to you on how you use it and how you think about it. You know, when you were a kid, time seemed like it just took so long, right? It took like it was so long to get Christmas to come. And then now that you're an adult, time is just whizzing by. The years are just going and flowing. And so how you're using time, how you're thinking about time determines how much power you have over time. Let's get into it. I don't know if I understand this one as much, so we're both going to be learning together. So long time. When you force the pace out of fear and impatience, you create a nest of problems that require fixing, and you end up taking much longer than if you had taken your time. That's so true. Doesn't that remind you of those people on the freeway? And it's like they're just driving and trying to dart through traffic, and then like 20 minutes later, you guys are at the same spot, only they probably caused a whole bunch more accidents and wrecks in their wake because they're trying to move through traffic. That's the thing about it, is sometimes that you're rushing, you cause more problems than if you were to just take your time, take a step by step, do the next best thing versus trying to skip all the way over to the end. It's a good way to control. I don't know what that has to do with long time. That's why I said I don't really understand it. So we're going to get what we can get. So first, when your mind is uncluttered by constant emergencies, you will see further into the future. So I guess the whole thing is about making time take longer. These are the benefits. Second, you will be able to resist the bait that people dangle in front of you, and you will keep yourself from becoming another impatient sucker. Third, you will have more room to be flexible. And fourth, you will not move from one deal to the next without completing the first ones. So that's the benefit of slowing down time. It just gives you the ability to control things, because if you're always in a rush to try and make a decision or to make something happen, you're either going to make mistakes or you're not going to see the forest through the trees, right? You're just going to get caught up in the tree. And you're not going to say, oh my gosh, I'm in a forest. That completely changes the emergency of this tree and that tree and that tree. It's like, okay, well, I'm in a forest. Now we navigate with that information in mind. So I guess having a longer view of time and slowing things down just helps you to see further into the future. It helps you to plan better. It helps you not to respond on other people's time, but to respond on your own time. So that's the benefit of long time. See, I wouldn't have written it that way if I'd have written the book, but I didn't write the book. Okay, so let's continue. Force time. The trick of forcing time is to upset the timing of others, to make them hurry, to make them wait, to make them abandon their own pace, to distort their perception of time. And I think you can do this by having a plan. So if you have your own plan on what you're going to do and you've already kind of mapped out, if this person does this, then I'm going to do that. I think that makes it so that you can kind of force those things because you already know what the next step is. So while they're still sitting here trying to have this present conversation, you're like, okay, you seem to be leaning towards this way, so I'm going with plan B, or you seem to be leaning that way, so now I'm going to go with plan A. You're able to move and navigate and hurry and rush them because you already know what you're going to do. I think that's the benefit of having a plan. And if you are going to force time for somebody else, you need to know how you're going to force them. Otherwise, you're going to be responding to their plan. Who's got the plan? That's going to be the person who's going to be able to execute and force the other person to get on their time schedule. So that's beneficial. I like force time. Okay, let's see what else they have. Making people wait is a powerful way of forcing time, as long as they do not figure out what you're up to. You make your opponents hurry. Start off your dealings with them slowly, then suddenly apply pressure, making them feel that everything is happening at once. People who lack time to think will make mistakes, so set deadlines for them. You know, you have to teach people how to treat you. You have to set up the boundaries of what you will and what you won't tolerate. I don't like it when people are late. and I myself am late. Oh my gosh, I'm so hypocritical in that sense. I am. I'm not too late, but I'm never like early. I'm like right on time, maybe like a couple of minutes late. And so with that, I do have very strict rules. Like if you're over 15 minutes late, we're just done. We're just going to cancel the meeting. You'll have to do it another time. Because I feel like I'm never 15 minutes late. I might be late, but I'm never 15 minutes late. 15 minutes late means you didn't plan. And I take offense to that. And so you have to teach people like, okay, I'm going to wait 15 minutes. And if you don't call me within 15 minutes, oh, it's over. I'm completely over whatever it is that we had to do. But at least if you call me, I'll probably just reschedule with you because you met over my 15-minute wait time and I'm not going to wait anymore. So you do have to you have to teach people how to treat you. So just make up the rules for yourself. You know, how long are you going to wait? Don't sit there and say, oh my gosh, this person kept me waiting for an hour. You waited for an hour. I'm not going to wait for an hour. I'm only waiting for 15 minutes. So you could be an hour late. I won't be there. You can be 16 minutes late. I still won't be there. I leave at 15 minutes. So that's what you got to do on that one. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I like that. Okay. And then last, it talks about end time. So do not be one of those people who looks like the paragon of patience, but actually is afraid to bring things to a close. Patience is worthless unless combined with a willingness to fall ruthlessly on your opponent at the right time. So you want to end things on your time. Like I said, 15 minutes and we're rescheduling. I don't care what the excuse was. I was late, blah, blah, blah. After 15 minutes, we're just rescheduling because we're going to do it on my time. And after 15 minutes, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm moving on to the next thing. I'm using that hour to do things for me and you no longer get that spot. Those are just my rules. And you should have rules for yourself. Don't let other people dictate how your time is going to be used. You cannot renew your time. So you have to make sure that you have rules on when it's going to end. And it really needs to end when you want it to end, right? Based on your plan, based on what you wanted to get done. But don't let other people push you to an end. Always be planning on what you're going to do, how long you're willing to wait, and what you're going to do if things don't happen your way. I know it sounds a little cynical, but it is kind of what you need to do because if not, you're going to be on somebody else's plan. And wouldn't you rather be on your plan than be on somebody else's plan? I'm just saying. Okay, so let's get over to the reversal of the law, which, surprise, there is no reversal of the law. There is no power to be gained in letting go of the reins and adapting to whatever time brings. To some degree, you must guide your time or you will be a merciless victim. You don't want people deciding these things for you. Here is a really good tip. Start to turn off your notifications. I really got to a place, especially in 2023, where I didn't like my phone telling me what I needed to do. Stop trying to control my time. Just because somebody texts me or just as somebody texts you doesn't mean that you have to respond. Just because a notification comes up doesn't mean that you have to look. Now, me, I have a hard time not looking. I'm just going to be honest. I have a hard time not looking. So I just turned them off. Do you know how much better my life is now that I go and I pull the information instead of having it pushed to me? Because a notification is a push, right? It's saying, hey, here's something, look at it now. Pulling is when you say, okay, every 15, 20 minutes or every 30 minutes or every hour, I'll go and I'll check all of my text messages, my emails. And if it's important and I need to respond, I will respond. If it can wait, then I'm going to wait. And then I have another time where I say, okay, I'm going to check messages and respond to messages. In fact, sometimes I will leave messages unread because I know I need to go back and do something with them. So don't let your notifications run your time. Don't let things in your life tell you what to do. You decide when you're going to do things. I kind of slipped into my final thoughts. So let's just get into my final thoughts. My final thoughts. Master the art of timing. You have to decide when things are going to happen, how long you're going to wait, how long it's going to take, and if it doesn't, when you're going to end it. You got to slow things down in your life so that you have a chance to execute what you want in your life. I read this one book. I can't remember what it was called. But it was like, there are urgent things and there are important things. If you don't take care of the important things, they become urgent things. And what ends up happening is that you spend all your time responding to emergencies versus saying like, this is how I'm going to plan my day. These are the things that I'm going to execute. And if you're doing those important things, they don't turn into urgent things later on. So I think it's a matter of you deciding on how you want to spend your time, where you want to spend your time, how long you're going to spend your time doing that, and making sure that you're working on those things that are very important to you. And everybody else, just have a time where you're going to deal with them separately. Like I said, with the notifications or emails or text messages or even phone calls, you should have a certain time of the day where you take those, and there's a certain time of the day where you don't. You shouldn't have that when somebody gives you a message that you automatically respond, because now you're going to be on their time. And imagine if all day long, all you ever did was just respond to what people want. They have an emergency, so now you're jumping. doing. They're doing this, so now you're doing that. Versus you saying, you know what, 4 hours out of my day is dedicated to me and the things that I need to get done. And then after that, I'll deal with what everybody else has. Can you imagine the things you would be able to get to if you were not just responding to somebody's request of you? That's to me what the mastering the art of timing is don't let other people dictate how your time is going to be used. You determine how your time is going to be used. Ooh, yes. See, we're able to find some good stuff in that. So make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure that you share it with a friend so that they can learn to master the art of timing. And next week, we're going to get into law number 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. We see people playing power games like that today. Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am, you weren't going to get it. I'm sorry, sir, you were never going to get it. But I guess if you disdain it, then it doesn't matter. Making your vices your virtues. We'll find out next time. See you guys. Bye.